Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the AK-47 pistol light setup. The way I set it up is I use a Streamlight pistol light on the right side. I got my sling on the left side over here, right? So what I do is I put the light on the right side, and what I do is I activate this with my index finger, okay? So that's how I activate my light. I've experimented with a couple of different methods. At one point, I tried having a mount that clamped onto the barrel, right? So it would clamp up to the barrel over here, and then it would be on the left side, and I would try to activate it with my thumb. The problem with that is that my sling is here, so the light and the sling would interfere with each other. Like I had a hard time reaching it. The way this Midwest rail is set up, there's a spot over here that I think was originally designed to put an offset up here so that the light would actually sit, would kind of hang off this a little bit higher, and I guess you would put your thumb up here. I don't even think that Midwest even sells that light mount anymore, so that's not even an option, and still I can still see it interfering with the sling, okay, because you got to have a sling. You got to have a sling on your rifle. You know, you got to have a red dot, you got to have a light, and you got to set it up in such a way that they don't interfere with each other. So this Streamlight is the TLR-1 HL. This is a 1,000 lume light. So back in the day when the pistol lights were only about 200-300 looms, it's like, yeah, you had to kind of use a rifle light if you wanted to be able to see at any respectable distance. And with rifles and rifle lights at night, if you're out here in the woods, I mean, I don't care if they say that 1,000 looms will allow you to see out to 300 yards. When you've got trees with shadows, you're lucky if you can see out to 75 yards. I mean, yeah, if you have somebody wearing white moving around at maybe 200 yards, you might be able to see them. But if you have somebody that generally does not want to be seen, it has to be really at 75 yards or less. So that's the reality of using a rifle light, even a 1,000 lume rifle light at night. Now, if you're indoors, right, and you're using a light, obviously 1,000 looms is a really powerful light to be using indoors. But the way I use it and the way I teach people to use it is the light is basically a non-lethal aggression, in terms of if I've got somebody and I'm like, you get back, and they're not complying, right? And it might just be because they're frozen, they're scared shitless. What happens is if you put the 1,000 looms in their face, right, that's gonna force them to do something. It will break that tunnel vision, because you might have a person there in front of you that's just terrified, of the situation they've put themselves in. So if you put 1,000 looms in their face, in their eyes, it's usually going to get them to look away. It'll get them to break that tunnel vision and maybe start listening to what you're telling him, to get down on the ground, spread their arms and their legs. Or if they have it in their mind that they're planning to attack you, right? Well, putting that light in their face is going to force them to act, okay? And that's fine, because at least at that point you're taking initiative to the extent of, if they're going to do something, they're going to do it right then and there, and you're prepared for it. So if somebody has it in their mind to attack me, I would rather they attack me immediately rather than 2 minutes, in the future. I want to be able to control as much as possible when they're going to attack me, if they're going to attack me. And simply by putting that light in their face, that can get them to to do whatever it is that they're planning to do. And it's usually going to be either they're going to comply or they're going to attack you. So that's why I think it's important to have a light on your home defense rifle. Now, on my home defense rifles, I usually have like an AR. I usually have a rifle light mounted on the right side with a pressure pad. But on not all my rifles are meant for home defense. Some of them I just occasionally shoot them at night. So most of the time with this AK here, I'm not shooting at night, I'm shooting it in the daytime. And the cool thing is, with the Streamlight, I'm able to unscrew this, push this out, and get this off. And now I can, I don't have that extra weight here. Especially on an AK-47, which they tend to be a little front heavy. You've got the piston up there, right? You got the gas tube, so you got a lot of metal up there, which does make the gun front heavy. You got your red dot here, so adding a light near the front, and the further out it is, the more front heavy it's going to be. So if I've got a rifle light that's mounted that's clamped onto the barrel and it's further up, that's going to make the gun even more front heavy. So when I want to get a rifle light on here, I find it a lot more convenient to just get this on when I need it on, and not have it on there if I don't need it. Okay, so it goes on and off really easy. So one of the things, one thing you gotta be careful with the Streamlight, with these butterfly switches, it is very easy. If you accidentally knock this, you're gonna flip the light on, and there is the risk of what's called negligent light discharge. And what that means is you accidentally flip this light on when you don't want it on, and what that does is it gives away your position if you don't want it to be given away. So that is one of the drawbacks about using this Streamlight TLR-1 HL. It's got this butterfly switch, which is convenient, in terms that you can really easily flip it on and off. If I have like insulated gloves, like with these gloves over here, I can easily get this light on and off, which to me is an important thing. So even with these insulated gloves, I can flip this light on and off. Okay, so it works really good with these gloves. So, now I'm not that concerned most of the time with negligent light discharge, where I accidentally flickered the light on, give away my position. That's usually not a concern. But if that was a concern, this is probably not a very good light. But I think for most people, this light is going to work really good on an AK-47. I have it mounted on a 3-slot Picatinny rail, right? And then if you can see over here, I do have that's an M-lock rail. You can see that I do have the little plastic grips over here. That's because this gun does get hot in the summertime if I'm shooting it a lot. And it can be a little bit hot to hold. Now, you might say, why not just wear gloves? Well, here's the thing. Given that the optic is mounted over the gas tube, I want to be aware of how hot this area is getting up here. So in the summertime, I like to shoot my AKs barehanded, and if it gets to the point where I really can't, it starts getting really uncomfortable to hold it with my bare hand, I know that I probably want to stop shooting it, because I don't want to cook the optic that's on top of it. Okay, so a couple ideas for you guys to think about. And like I said, I have played around with different light options on an AK-47. I find that this works the best for me for the way I use the gun, which is mostly shooting it at daytime, occasionally shooting it at night, and wanting to be able to get that light on and off pretty easily, without having to run wires and pressure pads, and having the light interfere with my sling. So this is something that works for me. So try it out. Let me know how you guys like it. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe. I'll talk to you guys soon.